No public input. Delegations. Any delegations here tonight? Then next, any additions or deletions to the agenda? Next is the approval of the minutes from the last meeting. Any questions, any comments? It's been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes of the last meeting. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Approval of the bills.
Okay, go to page 2. I just wanted to point out our revenue shortages this year. Under total charges of goods and services, this year to date is 361. Last year we were at 562, and most of those shortages are at the rec center and also at the sports complex, which we anticipated. Also the pool as well. We anticipated with COVID. So we did hold back, and we are trying our best to hold back $200,000 in expenses. And some of that is just automatic savings from not having lifeguards for the first couple of weeks, and you know, that helps. Those kinds of things help keep our expenses down, and we're going to keep that down to make up for those losses this year. And I don't see any issue of making that. Campground's doing very well. We actually hit our total that we brought in last year at $59,000. We hit that at the end of July this year. So we are just nothing but profit from here forward, from August 1st. For bills, we have page 25B, just a batting cage. That was a $4,000 donation. And $8,000 capital request that was approved to replace the batting cage, and I believe he's got that. Have you got that in yet, or is that?
It's all in. We're going to start it Monday.
Very good. What's that? Yeah.
It's the only. I'm thinking it's going to take 2 weeks because there's 21-foot 6-inch posts, and it's going to take a while for them to get that to be able to hang the net. And this is really the only 2 weeks we have that's off. And it's not really off. We're kind of pushing Wesleyan back, but.
Page 29A, there's a $2,000 expense for an underground wire break. And we had to move the electric out there to find, or TK Electric out to find that and take care of that for us. And that was at Cadwell. Page 30A. Schaefer Memorials for 1800. That's part of the bust that is being installed at Cadwell. Page 31A, 5500. That's the MSH Architects. They're working on the roof at the ice arena. And that, have you heard, Jeremy, if have they showed up yet? I didn't ask Joe today, but they should be coming soon. 31B, 1400 for skate aids. We needed to replace those skate aids. They were worn out and broken, and so we got those replaced for the open skate program. And I think that was it. Everything else should be self-explanatory.
Any other questions for Nate, comments, anything? If not, I need a motion to approve the bills.
Move to approve the bills.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Any old business? Request to approve the maintenance agreement It was tabled at the July meeting, and at the end of the minutes from the last meeting, it says here that we would like to have the city attorney here to kind of explain that. So, Justin?
All right. Well, I don't know how much you want to hear from me, but I'll kind of give you the basic summary of what's going on there. I couldn't tell you how long ago it was, but basically on the property, at some point in time, there were underground sprinklers and landscaping installed at this location at the lake. It was done by the adjacent property owner at some point, and really the city never noticed anything was going on with it. It turns out that some of the stuff that they installed was actually on city-owned property. They've been maintaining it, they've been paying for all the costs of upkeep and water and everything in relation to the system. And it wasn't until they wanted to sell their property that the issue kind of came to light. They did a survey and noticed that there was all this encroaching property. So really, they reached out to try to figure out a way to resolve that, to make it easier for them to sell. What we thought was the best approach was for them to basically disclaim any ownership and any of the stuff that's currently on city property. So that would have been simple and straightforward in and of itself, but they also wanted to continue to maintain the area that they had been maintaining for all those years, keep it looking nice and not claim any exclusive access to it or anything like that. But just to keep it up and make sure it looks nice. So since the last meeting, the property actually was sold. So the information that you had in packet was listing the Ritters. It's now the Rails who are the owners of that property. Nevertheless, the current owners would still like to get this resolved. I'm sure that they feel similarly, and Terry's here to talk to that, but they also want to continue to maintain that area. If you look at the specifics of the agreement, it's not really committing the city to anything major. It's got specific language in there that says that we're not responsible for maintaining it or the cost to keep it in place. We're not responsible for doing any of the maintenance in that area any more than we would any of our other land around the lake. It's got several conditions in there on how this maintenance agreement can be terminated. One of those being that if we want to terminate it, we've got that right. We just have to give them 6 months notice to do that. And then if we reach that point or there's some other termination event, basically the property owners would be responsible for cutting off the sprinkler system at the property line, and everything else would kind of be abandoned in place. So I guess that's kind of the big picture on it. I don't know if there's any questions, but I can sure try to answer those. Otherwise, the property owner is here if you've got questions for them.
What's to stop someone else from just using public property as their own? I feel like we're going to set a precedent here where everyone that has a, they just start maintaining it, they can just use it as their own. And
yeah.
I mean,
and quite honestly, we actually have that going on in quite a few other locations, not even just around the lake, but throughout the city. People have city property next to them, but the city doesn't maintain it up to the standards they'd like to see it. So whether it's going over and mowing the yard or something along those lines, that actually happens quite a bit. To my knowledge, not a lot of other places have installed sprinkler systems. So that's really the only thing that differentiates this, and probably the only reason we'd be requiring any kind of an agreement.
I've always thought it was private property since I've been in town. And I think that's what bothers me a little bit is I would have never known that I could use it, but we put up signs, I guess.
What are we deciding on the parking spot? Did you touch on that?
Yeah, so the parking spot would actually be on city property as well, so that is just general public use. Looks like it didn't make it into the packet, but in conjunction with this maintenance agreement, they've also provided a bill of sale for the parking lot area, so that they're disclaiming that, any interest in that area as well. You know, anything other than the general public, I guess, you know, it's still open for general use by the public.
And I have a little piece of city land that goes right next to my property, and me and our neighbor take care of it, mow it. You know, the city's not gonna come out and mow it. So, I mean, I know it, because I'm not gonna send Steve out there to mow my.
Yeah, usually where we see it around town is not necessarily with parkland or privately held city property. Usually it's with unimproved right-of-ways. That's where we see it most often. So somebody will have a grass alley behind them, or there'll be a street that never got put in, and property owners will just maintain it.
So what's I guess there's no value because we're still owning it. Where were you gonna put the sign in then? Was it gonna be at the driveway, or was it gonna be all the way at the edge of the?
We could put it right there at the driveway for parking, you know, public parking area, or. We usually put them on the property line, but.
It looks like it's right up by is this right? When I look at the gifts, I know sometimes they're a little off, they're shifted a little.
Yep. We would make sure we're on our side, let's put it that way, and we wouldn't want to, because we don't want to survey, I don't think that we want to spend the time doing that, but we'll have a sign out there for public access, as we do with all the other public accesses. Some of them, they just go back out and pull them out when we put them in, but we do our best. Because I think some of the other access areas get mowed or taken care of by the neighbor, at least somewhat.
Yeah, and I guess it'll be up to the department and the board how much or what kind of use this area might see in the future. Personally, I haven't gone out to look at it. I'm not real familiar with what the access to on the lake actually is, but my guess is it would take some work to make it really usable for the public. But
there's a park right next to it. That's where people go, even for the most part, into that open space area there.
I haven't looked at it that closely either. I mean, there's times where that park was full, and I maybe would have looked, but I didn't know it was even an option.
Yeah. And property owners should be aware that, you know, they don't have any exclusive right to any of this area. They're just agreeing to maintain it.
I don't have
Any other questions for me or for the property owner?
So we'd be seeking a motion to approve or deny.
And I'll need a motion to approve the maintenance agreement and the bill of sale? And the bill of sale.
Yeah, I think he's got a couple comments he'd like to make here quick before you get to your motion.
I guess just to alleviate any concern here, we're not trying to consume city land. No, it was actually understood at the time of our purchase. They've thought for the last 40 years that this was part of the property. It was only during the course of sale that they went, oh my gosh. In fact, I think there might still be lawyers asking questions as to, is there some records from the early 80s mentioning a sale? Yeah, and they could exist, they might not exist. Again, here nor there. At this point, it's there, it's nice. It's literally a sheer wall that they put some steps in and some landscaping that shoots back towards our property. We're not trying to consume city land. If it's nice and it's there, we'd ask that we keep it nice and keep it there. We're not blocking anybody from it. Again, at this point, it's just our intention. If it's nice, why not keep it nice? It was built under a false pretense of it being theirs. It wasn't, but now since we're moving in, why not maintain it?
What's your plans for after 20 years?
I don't know, come back, ask for another one, unless we find this bill of sale that mythically exists in a basement somewhere. I don't know. Again, that's somewhere out there. Right now, we'd like to establish the premise of being able to keep it nice. Thanks.
Any more questions?
I guess I've got just one other thing that I could touch on. Before this agreement came to the park board, there was actually another encroachment, which I'm sure Terry is aware of as well, but there was a screened-in porch that actually encroached onto the parkland as well, and at considerable expense, they actually chopped that corner off of that was encroaching and reframed it so it was all on their private property. So I would say that they've kind of done their part to honor it being parkland, on top of just wanting to keep things looking nice, so.
Okay, then I'll ask for a motion.
I can do it.
Got the motion, is there a second? Motion has been made and seconded that we go forward with the maintenance agreement and the bill of sale. Any other questions, comments? Then all in favor say aye. Opposed?
Okay.
I think we can say pass. And then we need, next on the agenda, review and an update of the COVID guidelines. Nate? And they are right after the pictures.
Yep, I just wanted to bring the board up to speed. Really no changes at this time. The only thing that I've wanted to touch on is we have 113 square feet per person requirement that we did at the outdoor pool this year. We're doing it at the indoor pool, and the ice arena is now going to be opening next month, so we'll continue that. But hockey did request that if they wear a mask and they bypass the physical distancing guidelines, and that would be for the board to decide. Because with the ice arena, the numbers are pretty low because the ice takes up so much room. We don't have that much square footage around the ice. I want to say, I don't have the numbers here, but about 75 people per ice, maybe 100 on one of them. And so does wearing masks eliminate the need for physical distancing? That would be my first question, or probably my only question. I do want to reiterate that we do want to restart our Silver Sneakers program. We would do that modified, and Kevin can weigh in on what modified means, and then we just currently don't have any mask requirements in our preschool or any other programs.
So for the Silver Sneakers class, we'd like to start that up again in September, right around September. If the numbers dictate that, you know, we haven't had a ton of seniors come back yet. The swimmers obviously have, and we've had some, but we have had a lot inquire about coming back once school's in session, and there's not as many kids in the building and stuff. And so Thomas would have that class. He usually has it up in the multipurpose room. We'd move it to the back gym so that he can space out a little bit more in there. I mean, there's usually, the max in that class would be 20, probably, but there's roughly anywhere between 12 and 15 that regularly did show up. And so he would space that out, and, you know, there's no equipment required. It's just the chairs, and we have chairs back there already. So that's kind of what he'd like to do with that. So.
And this has nothing to do with staff. That's put on by, that's internal, and we do have some of our own requirements to wear masks if we're within 6 feet, like driving in a vehicle or concession stands or those kinds of things. So that's not in here. This is all for the public.
So are we back to wearing masks at the ice arena?
They,
What?
well, we put it up to them, and they're thinking about requiring it.
Okay.
But if they don't require it, it really drops the numbers that they can have for like spectators. So they just asked if we do require masks, can we get within 6 feet?
What do you do if someone cannot afford a mask coming? Do you provide them?
That
It
would,
still be on the association.
the association would provide them, from my understanding.
So really, as far as we are concerned, we just have to say, yes, that they need to be required masks if they're going to be within 6 feet of each other, or if they don't want to wear masks, they can't, they have to stay apart.
You just stay your social
Just 6,
distance.
yeah.
Yeah.
But who's gonna enforce social distancing?
So we're only enforcing occupancy,
Yeah.
that's all that we're enforcing. And as far as the association, it'd be up to them at what level they want to enforce it. Same with the state amateur. It was up to the association to make those determinations.
Which that's the hard one, because I said, I'm not gonna give you guidelines, I'm not gonna make you wear a mask or make you stand 6 feet apart, because I'm not gonna have staff there to enforce it.
So they just,
They feel the
We give them guidelines, and it's up to them to follow them.
what about Mitchell figure skating? Did you talk to them? Do they have any opinions on?
They have stuff in the works of sharing or spreading out locker rooms. They're gonna have their kids ready when they come. They're gonna have parents not staying for practices. They're gonna have enter this door, exit the other door, but they haven't said anything about requiring masks.
Any staff concerns,
With masks,
masks, or letting them do it?
no, because if you're there, if we do have 2 people, one's here and one's at the other end of the ice arena.
What's the financial repercussion? If we say they have to wear, or they do reduce occupancy, is there going to be a dramatic reduction of how much the city can possibly make? Does that make sense?
There would be no reduction, because we just get paid per hour on the ice, so we don't get occupancy numbers or,
We don't-
it's just giving them more options. They could still not require masks, but they'd have to maintain the occupancy, at least with the guidelines that we have today. So, I don't know when we're gonna change that, but, this is what we have.
If they have one person paid to come to their game or 300, that doesn't matter to us. It's just however long their game is.
So,
If,
go ahead.
if nobody wore masks, what is the occupancy compared to if people wore masks?
It's about 30% down, I wanna say.
So, numbers.
So
Okay.
300 versus 100.
Okay.
So we're down to 100. That's how it was at the outdoor pool, it went from 1,200 to 400.
And there was only, she said even for varsity games, that should be enough for people that come to those.
They just want to have the option.
Okay.
What do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah.
I think I don't think they should
Well, that's
be wearing
right.
masks. I think it's going to deter other people from coming, even people from town, and maybe even other teams to their tournaments. 'Cause some are requiring masks, but some aren't. And from everyone that I've heard in all the other sports, they are completely over the whole COVID thing, which I don't think you should be completely over it, but people are just getting tired of it, and they might not come if masks are required.
Well,
But still,
again, I think, people have to be responsible for themselves.
Yep.
If they don't like the idea of somebody sitting right next to you,
Uh-huh.
don't go.
And that's
You
the
know,
other thing with enforcing that. If I come and sit next to Kevin and he says, you're too close, and I say, I don't care, I can do what I want, and there's another enforcement. Someone's got to solve that problem too. But again, as far as they have 20 people at the games or 500, that hurts them. But for the city, it doesn't really do much.
So you would need to vote if we're going to eliminate our 6 feet distance at all, or we're going to keep it, we'll just keep it, or vote to allow a modified option.
And I don't think, talking to their old hockey president, she said their whole board was leaning towards no masks, almost all of them. But she just wanted, if they did require masks, could they get away from that 6 feet?
And I still think the recommendation is still a mask plus 6 feet. I don't think you can say that just wearing a mask is going to eliminate the issue either.
When does the season start that they actually have fans there? Is it something we have to decide today, or?
No, we got one more month.
We have ice ready September 21st, and they really don't start playing games where there will be people until mid-November.
I'd just soon defer any changes until we can kind of see what's happening and see how the football season goes.
A
And
lot can happen in the next month or two, so.
Chris, you want to make that a motion?
I don't think we need a motion, do we?
Do we?
I don't think we need a motion. This is what we've been following all summer. It's what the information I've been giving you. I put the 113 square feet in writing on here for you, so that way you could see it. And I also let you know what our fall changes are with the Silver Sneaker program. And just because masks have been so much of a topic lately, that I make sure that was written on here for you, so you can see that as well.
One more question for Kevin. How is the staff, is any of the staff concerned at the rec center where they want people wearing masks, nervous about,
Not really. Chris has debated whether or not after school, like for that first rush, when all those kids are coming from school and they're at the counter checking in, she might wear a mask then. We have the shield and stuff, but she still might wear a mask during that time. But it hasn't been an issue so far, but we obviously haven't been as busy like we are after school normally. I still have no idea how many kids we're going to get to come after school. It's just going to be interesting to see.
I'm wondering if you'll get more just because the schools are going to require them?
I don't know. It's going to be more. I really don't know.
And preschool numbers are down a little bit? is what I
No,
heard?
preschool numbers are good. I think we only have 4 spots left in one class. And that class usually doesn't fill. It's our afternoon, Tuesday, Thursday class. The other 3 classes are full. And our after-school program, we're capping that at 30, just because we don't have the space that we thought we were going to have yet, which hopefully we will some soon, but
That 30 is just second grade.
kindergarten through second grade. Yep.
But third grade and on, they can just come
They
whenever
can,
they want.
they can just come. Yep.
We still don't have we don't have to be with the parent yet.
Right.
Don't worry.
Right. The one thing I will add into that for any changes potentially for coming up is we were thinking of the last 2 years, and we always used to, but the last 2 years, we started opening on Sundays right after Labor Day. We used to wait until October. Right now, we're thinking that our numbers aren't that great on the weekends, and we were thinking of waiting until that October time to open Saturdays, just because financially it's not really worth it.
Sunday, right?
Yeah, just Sundays, yeah. And then opening.
We're just
starting
looking for safety.
October, because, we spend close to $400 on staffing during a Sunday, and we might average 30 people there on a good day, so. But then once October picks up, hopefully it gets a little, well, I shouldn't say hopefully, but it gets colder, then Saturdays and Sundays are pretty busy for swimming, but usually in September it's not, so we were kind of looking to do that as well.
Mary Ellen, since we do have the Silver Sneakers on here, and just saying we're not going to have a mask requirement at this time, we'll go ahead and I'll request an approval of the way it's written.
Oh, the way it's written now?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
seek a motion for that.
Okay, I need a motion then to approve the way the COVID-19 policies and recommendations for the Mitchell Park and Recs, the way it is written.
So moved.
Moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next, any more old business? New business, recreation report. Kevin?
Okay, so I'll just highlight it a little bit because we did talk a little bit about some of the stuff that I did want to mention. But so since our last meeting, our summer programs they pretty much ended here the last couple of weeks. We were happy with the way things went. We're taking registration right now for Well, tackle football is done as of 6 o'clock today. We still are taking registration for flag football. Right now, the tackle numbers are really good. I mean, we're happy with them. There's 64 kids right now. And then we're also taking registration for our youth volleyball, which we added kindergarten through sixth grade. So we added kindergarten through second grade, which we've never had before, and we are moving it to the fall, which is the first time we've done that. So we're taking registrations for all those. We're not putting out we're not putting in schools our fall winter brochure. Just in case something happens and we have to change some things. I mean, we basically wasted a lot of money on our summer brochure. And so we're putting it online, what's available right now, and adding things and making changes online as they come up. So like our swimming lessons that Jamie is very close to figuring out what we're going to offer, we'll have those up in a couple weeks. You know, those will start in like October. Our basketball program and all that kind of stuff will come on here in the next probably month. So we're looking forward to getting those programs started. Tackle football starts Monday at equipment handout night tonight, and that starts Monday. So we're getting into the fall season already. Aquatic Center, the Outdoor Aquatic Center is wrapping up this weekend. So Saturday and Sunday, we're open from 1 to 5 both days, and then we're done for the year. So, and I'm for one, I'm very happy that we were open this summer. I think it was a successful season. I think the public was very happy that we were open and able to do that. And Jamie and her staff did a great job of working through all the modifications that needed to be done. So we're happy with that overall, definitely. And we are we'll talk about this at a later meeting, but we're looking at potentially in August closing at 7 o'clock instead of 8 o'clock. Once August hits, there's so much getting ready for school and stuff that by 6:30, they're sending people home anyway, staff home, and closing by 6:30, 7 o'clock anyway, because there's just nobody there. So we might just make that a permanent thing come August. So, but we'll have the board approve that probably like January or February at a board meeting. So rec center, same way. We wrapped up pretty much most of our summer athlete training and programming there. Getting ready for preschool next Wednesday. They got their open house tonight for preschool, so looking forward to that. Again, as far as kids after school, no idea what to expect, but who's ever there, we're going to sit them down like we always do. Once they all get there from the other schools, I always get them in the gym and have the talk with them on rules and how they're supposed to act and things like that. And we'll obviously be talking a little bit more about the social distancing, and we're going to try to make sure that they don't hang out in the lobby as much as they do, hopefully to get them off their games and stuff, and get them outside and get them in the gym and get them swimming and staying a little more active if we can. Sometimes that's hard to do, but we'll have those talks with them, and hopefully they take to it just like our adults have done and really done a great job of, cleaning up before and after themselves and, their equipment and things like that. So we're looking forward to that. Our after-school program, again, that will start that first day of school as well. And we're going to take a max of 30, and I think we have 27 right now. So we're just looking forward to see how things are going. Any questions?
No, but I do have a comment.
Yes.
Swim ladies were
Yeah.
talking today, and they think it was the smartest thing in the world that we had the outdoor pool open, because they've heard relatives around from towns that don't have them open, and they just thought we did a darn good job.
Yeah.
And Jamie should know that.
She did a great job with her staff and making sure that they were on top of things, and financially, holding back and making sure that we weren't ordering too much in the concession stand. They did a great job there, and so I'm happy with it overall. So, and I know Jamie was too. So,
Any questions, Kevin? Steve, Parks and Forestry report.
Well, this past month, we've been doing a lot of irrigation maintenance in all the parks. When it really got hot there a couple weeks back, some of the parks were starting to brown up. We had brown spots showing up and stuff like that, so we had to adjust heads, repair heads, fix valves, stuff like that to catch back up. And with the cooler temps and rains we've been having and got the irrigation all back up and going, everything's looking way better in the parks. Finished up spraying the fence lines, cracks in the sidewalks, bike trails, stuff for weeds. We had to repair the fence at the day camp. We had a car go through it one night, so we had to repair that. The lights got installed for the volleyball courts at the day camp. Just moved irrigation heads around the new tennis shed that was built, so now the heads are spraying actually on the building. We wrapped up our stump removal, and all the boulevard trees and parks that, from everything we removed last winter. MB bought out a group of kids to the campground, kind of went over a little bit of boater safety, and then they all got to ride the pedal boats. Just added some wood chips, fertilized, sprayed weeds down at the plaza, kind of got that all cleaned up for the big bike rally and stuff like that, and probably do the same again right before Corn Palace Festival. Made some repairs to the restroom at the Kiwanis Woodlot. We had some boards that were rotten and sanded it down, restained it. And then just our daily operations at the outdoor pool, keep it going. Just been treating any standing water from mosquitoes. Our numbers have gone way down since everything got hot. All the water holes kind of dried up for the most part. Mosquito numbers have gone down. And just maintenance on the flower beds. Working with the schools. They want to rent 40 picnic tables when school starts at the end of October. Hopefully get their kids spread out when they're eating lunch, or might use them for class time, stuff like that. So if you notice all of our parks, there's no picnic tables or few picnic tables, you know where they're at. I think we should be all right. I kind of did a count on them, and should be able to keep some in the parks, but yet most of them are going to be at the schools. And we should have enough yet for the plaza for our main Corn Palace week. Any questions?
Jeremy?
I would like to add too, I forgot to mention it, and it's because it's not in here, but if any of you have gotten questions about the steam room being down, we got our new steam generator today. Still need to get our electrical guys lined up, so we're hoping to get that back up and running by Monday or Tuesday of next week. So it's been down for about a week and a half or whatever, so we did get the steam generator. It's just in case anybody does ask you.
We had a Cadwell, the Junior Legion tournament, that went really well. That was 9 games in 3 days, and there was a lot of parents and players that were just happy to have it. They were talking about not having it. They go to games, which is okay, but when you bring a few teams together, and they modified it a little, so one team left first day, got beat out, so they didn't have to stay the night. State amateur tournament's going on right now. Goes till Sunday. That's 38 games. It's a lot. Still gets beat up, but there's also a lot of people that are going to that. It's very busy out there right now, and these next 2 nights, and especially Saturday night and Sunday for the championship. Women's softball ended the 20th. They started first week in June. They had a week off, and then co-ed starts on that Thursday. That goes 6 weeks. Men's softball finishes up here shortly on the 26th. Like Kevin said, park and rec football on the 17th, and also flag football. I think it's September 9th, or men's flag, 9th or 5th, or somewhere on that Wednesday. DW is going as of now. I keep kind of talking to John Hurt every week to see, as other fall sports are getting canceled, they say they're still going. They might. Softball and baseball is still kind of up in the air because this isn't really their season. Their season's not till the spring. But as of now, they're still going. Wait a minute. Got a softball tournament for DW the 29th and 30th, and I heard today they canceled the one for the 12th and 13th. That was a high school. DW puts on a high school tournament there. So I got to double check with that. Mitchell girls fast pitch, after having one girl get COVID and they didn't go to their state tournament, which kind of sucks, but they're starting up Monday. New batting cage, we're gonna start that on Monday. Taking the old one out, pulling the post. Should take, I gave 2 weeks, just in case, but, and all our seasonal help is pretty much done on Sunday. I'm gonna talk to a few kids into coming back on Monday to do some cleaning up from the tournament. We got one mower, and I'm gonna try to get a couple more for, the rest of the fall, until the grass gets growing. We'll put some primo down, some growth regulators, so that'll help. Out of soccer, there hasn't been much going on until, they're about to start up. Registration for Mitchell soccer was this last Monday. They extended it a week because I heard their numbers were way down. But he emailed me today, and so they're going to use the same field they anticipated, so hopefully their numbers went up for extending that a week. And I think we just have 2 more fields to lay out. DW will start about the first part of September. That's probably the one they will have, because that is their fall season. And I don't know if they're doing their tournament. I know football is doing their playoffs in the spring, so that probably goes to soccer too. And in the ice arena, it's getting real close. We're going to turn on compressors that weekend of the 29th. So cleaning the rink floor, getting everything out of there. Start to make ice. We got ice ready on the 21st. I'm giving a few extra days. Usually it's, if you bust your butt, it's about 10 working days to get one of them up, and the other one's, a little bit further behind. So I gave a little bit more, but they want to try to get both of them. They have a learn to skate and drop hockey starting right then. Their numbers are always down this time of year because a lot of them are in fall sports, but they will start all the hockey coming up here shortly. And just maintenance with games and practices, everyday bathrooms, doing fields, mowing. That is about it. Any questions?
Early question, I got frustrated last year trying to take my kids to open skate. It seemed like I always pick when there's a tournament going on, and then
On a weekend?
yeah.
Yep.
Is there somewhere I can be looking to see before I get my kids all in the car and drive them over that?
We're going to have, we're going to have a schedule that will help with rentals and people looking for, like that Saturday from 2 to 4 when it might be blocked off. We're going to have kind of a master schedule, because it's really a pain when someone calls and says, hey, can I rent the ice from here to here? And I say, no, but you can do it from here to here. Okay, let me check with my kid's birthday party. So we're going to put a schedule up somewhere on the website or somewhere where the public can go and look and say, nope, in 2 Saturdays, we can't have open skate from 2 to 4. There'll be a tournament there. Or they don't have a tournament, this from 4 to 10 is open for ice rentals.
Great.
I probably discussed the same thing as a parent. My frustration with the indoor pool, outdoor pool. I drink all of it. I have to download PDF. I got 27 indoor pool PDFs downloaded. I don't know which one to switch. I have the same problem with the ice skating. I get my daughter packed up and I get there and have a toddler that's just upset because the online said it, but the door, I walk in, says no open skate. Outdoor pool, as a mom too, just one of the discussions I've had is you can't have jumpers, the lily jumpers that you can at the indoor pool.
Not supposed to have them at the indoor pool either. We have both. We have the same rules for both. Some people sometimes sneak them in there, but yeah, we're not supposed to have them.
It's just interesting, because I think the numbers would go up as a mom who now has 2 if you just allow one of them. But like I said, just the inconsistency or finding on Google or Facebook or trying to find something can be one of the discussions a lot of people of my age have difficulties with.
We can review that with the board if you need to at some point in the near future before next year. But we've got the indoor pool going year round, so we can do that anytime. But
Any more questions, comments? Nate, your turn.
if you have, I'll make mine short because we've already gone long. If you have any questions, just let me know. Just the ice arena roof is underway. They should hopefully be showing up soon because we'd like to have that done before the snow flies. I'll check in with Joe tomorrow and see where he's at. And then park specialist interviews, we're trying to fill 2 positions. We've been down all year. We first filled Jeremy's position, and then we filled Roger's position, what do they call it, a crew leader position for Roger. And then we had someone quit, Brian quit, what was that, when was that? It's been a while, it seems like.
The 21st?
Yep. So Roger's position and Brian's positions are both open, and so we're still down 2 employees. We've been down since March, but hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll have those wrapped up and done, and hopefully have those filled. Any other questions that you might have?
Then the next on the agenda is the water report.
Yep, I'll go over that real quick as well. Phosphorus, the in-lake phosphorus rose significantly, and that goes in line with the drop in rain. The phosphorus at the bottom of the lake starts to come up and causes that increase. That's what we would expect in a dry spell, I guess. We've pretty much been wet until this last month, for the last 2 years. So that's kind of the first time that we saw that happen. And we've got our historical phosphorus numbers there on the next page, and we did pass the threshold for a watch for microsystems, and we have those signs up. And the cylinder Sermopsin is doing just fine. Any other questions?
Then the next on the agenda, approve the 2020 MFSA agreement.
Okay, since they're not here, that means I don't think we have any objection. They've seen both hockey and figure skating have seen these agreements. And you have any feedback? We're good to go, right?
Oh, there's a couple of questions with hockey, but we kind of figured out it was really easy.
Yep, got it taken care of. The main changes would be 2A. We defined how we're calculating an hour. So when we say per hour, we talk about the rink itself, use of related facilities which tend to prevent others from using the rink, resurfacing time before, during, and after the rental period, and any other activities necessary to prepare for or perform after any given rental period. That was kind of one of the main additions this year. We have adjusted the prices that the board adopted last fall. That's in section 2. And then 2B, we added for hockey, no refunds will be given within 14 days. But they wanted us to add the second line, and we didn't see any objection. The city may allow refunds if the reason for cancellation is beyond a reasonable control, like a snowstorm. I don't think I had anything else highlighted. That would be for both agreements. So you can approve both with those adjustments. I do want to add scoreboards on 15A for the hockey. This is the same clause that's in all of our other association agreements, swim club, tennis, and baseball. Scoreboards and timing equipment may be purchased. I think we've just missed it the last couple of years, but the board did add that. When we did the master plan, we have been adding that to our agreements. But scoreboards are purchased and maintained by the associations, and we wanted to make sure that clause was in there. So hockey has the 3 edits, and figure skating has just the 2.
Then I will entertain a motion to approve both agreements. If there's no further comments or questions, or
I'll move.
been moved in second, all in favor say aye.
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 No edits to the concessions agreement, same agreement that we have for all of our concession stands.
So no changes there and anything?
No?
Okay. So I'll need a motion to approve that one.
Yes.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And then
One more.
approve the trail run agreement.
Okay. So this came up, we don't have a formal permit process for anything that does not include liquor, noise, street closure, or fireworks. So generally, you have to go through a citywide process, but, so this is just something that I want to create as we're just doing an agreement mainly to make sure that they have insurance. That's all that we're concerned about. But I do want to have a standard permit for tournaments like disc golf tournaments or trail runs or triathlons, any of those things that don't have a need for them to come to the city council. So we'll have a formal permit I'll bring to the board at a later date. But for right now, we're just wanting to have an agreement and mainly to make sure that they have insurance. And at the later date, we can also talk about a processing fee or a per person fee that we could charge in the future. But for now, we don't have any fees associated with this because we haven't discussed it.
Is there ever a problem with something like this with cleanup? Are generally these groups pretty good with?
Yeah, like the disc golf group, we haven't had any problems that from them coming in the past. Yeah, so I don't anticipate any issues at all. I believe this is our standard agreement, and they would be responsible for that if there was an issue.
So I will entertain a motion to approve the trail run agreement.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Anything else for new business? Then we need to set the next meeting date, which would be September 10th. If that works for everybody. Corn Palace will be over, fair's over with. School will have started. September 10th at 6 p.m. here. Okay with everybody?
Yep.
Meeting's adjourned.